You're listening to the Zipping Into Research podcast at the University of Akron.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for our latest episode of Zipping Into Research. I'm Dr. Federico De Gregorio, Associate Professor in the Department of Marketing, College of Business, and
I'm Dr. Alexa Fox. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Marketing and the director of the Taylor Institute for Direct Marketing. And today, we're very happy to have Dr. Jin Smale, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Marketing, on the show. We're going to be discussing her recently published article called Darker Logos Are Seen as For-Profits and Lighter Logos as Nonprofits. It was published in Psychology and Marketing and co-authored with one of our now alum, but at the time was a graduate student, Tausif. And so, Dr. Smale, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Could you start by telling us about what you research overall and what motivates you to investigate these areas?
Yeah, I am basically a consumer behavior researcher. I love researching how subtle cues like color influence consumers' behavior, their decisions, how they think, how they behave. So I really like researching this color, like subtle cues, because to me, it's like finding a hidden gem. Like we we don't know how powerful influential color is, but once I find the effect, it makes so much sense. Now I look at the world a little bit differently. I understand the world a little bit better. So it becomes more special once you find out how influential color is. So I like researching about color because it's like finding a treasure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
so um, let's talk about your actual research piece that we're going to talk about today. Right. So I guess I can do a little bit of setup. Right. So usually, from my understanding, in this color area, right, usually people think of, oh, you study differences between colors, right? Black versus white, green versus red, blue versus yellow, things like that's, I think, what most people would think of. Oh, you study effects of different color, right? But in this particular research, you did, I think it's studied less, the different aspects of color. Can you talk about that and also what your main conclusions were from this research?
Yes. So color composed of three things: hue, lightness, and saturation. Hue is what Dr. Federico just described, like green, pink, purple, blue. That was hue. Lightness is within the hue, one color can have more white than the other. So like sky blue versus navy, they're still blue. So lighter blue, darker blue. And saturation is more vivid color versus less vivid color. My research focuses on lightness. So this research main conclusion is people unconsciously relate darker colored logos with for-profits, lighter colored logos with nonprofits, regardless of hue, meaning green, blue, red, you name any color. If it's darker version of it, then people consider that as profit. Lighter version of it, then people consider it as lighter. I mean, the nonprofit. Yeah. So we found, me and my co-author, Tausif, found that darker color logo signal for profit, lighter color logo signal nonprofit. And the main reason is the darker color signal luxury. And luxury is related to money. And people think, oh, this color looks luxury. So if I have to choose one or the other, I'll choose for profit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting that people perceive darker logos as being more luxurious, but when the logos of the brands are explicitly labeled as such, things kind of changed a little bit in some of the future studies, right? Color maybe doesn't matter as much when you told people this is a luxury product.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So our research has boundaries, limitation. It doesn't work for any brand. So like Alexa said, when it vividly, obviously say this is luxury, this bag is $10,000, color doesn't matter. Also, if it's already so established brand like Coca-Cola, that red, even if I make it lighter, nobody's gonna think, oh, suddenly it perceives as nonprofit. No. So our research has boundaries, meaning that if it's new, that people don't already associate certain colors to the brand, that it may work. Also, when it didn't tell specifically it's luxury brand, then it will work. Yeah.
I'd like to also ask a follow-up as well. So also in the hue side, right? They often talk about people then will think, oh, but in different countries, different cultures, different hues of colors mean different things. It's interesting in this case where you're talking about the lightness of it, Do you think, and you didn't study this in this particular research, but do you think as a researcher in this area that the effect of the lightness of any particular color is consistent across cultures, or do you think there might be variation since we're talking about the same color, the meaning of the color probably, how do you think that effect of the lightness, what do you think that difference, if there are different, there may not,
Yes.
what do you
There are many ways to categorize culture, but one way I would do is loose culture versus Thai culture. Thai culture are more hierarchical than loose culture. Korea is example of Thai culture. Loose culture is America. I think my findings will be stronger in hierarchical culture like South Korea because lighter versus darker colors, consumers often find different hierarchy, dominance. They think darker colors are more like boss, lighter colors are more intern, like junior faculty, So I think such hierarchy is more meaningful in certain culture. Hierarchy is more mm, prevalent in South Korea than here. So if I have a chance to study the same thing with Koreans only, I hypothesize that it's gonna get stronger effect.
but the effect will still be there, just
Yes.
it'll be more
It'll be more
pronounced, more
Yes,
strong,
Yes,
but
yes,
generally the
Yeah.
effect would still be there.
yeah.
That's interesting. Thank you. Are there certain brands you had in mind that inspired you for this study? Of course, it came from theory and the literature. Are there certain brands you think of that do this really well in terms of having a lighter logo or a darker logo?
Oh, at that time when me and Tausif were working on it, I had client nonprofit organization as my marketing research client. So I was more thinking about if they ask me, my students, to design a logo, what would I do? They didn't ask that, but it's just oh, what if this happens? So I was talking to Tausif and then he agreed that, yeah, that makes sense. Like profit versus nonprofit, I expect them to be a little bit darker. And that's how our conversation started. But I didn't have like specific brand in my mind, but more like a idea concept. Yeah.
I love to hear about how research papers are inspired, and sometimes it can be something that we're doing as teachers or conversations we're having, like in your case with a graduate student. So I think it's great to be able to kind of see how different papers come to be from the very beginning.
I love the fact that I have students that I can always talk about this nerdy stuff because if you do it to your friends that you grew up, I have a friend who I've known for many years since we were elementary school. Every time I ask her any research question, she's like, I don't have time for this. And then we end up talking about other things like food and travel. Yeah. So
They
in
have time for that.
they have complete time for but I had told Steve at the time, oh, I enjoyed texting him like, what do you think about this? And then he replies and then like I love that. I loved it so much.
Yeah, those mutual interests are great.
Yes.
If we have time, I have one more. So at the very beginning, when we started, you mentioned that color in general, what you study is, it's subtle and sort of implicit, right? Although people see the colors and
Yes.
they will sometimes actively respond and say, "Oh, I really like that color on you," or when they're choosing, how to paint their house or something like that.
Yes.
But in this particular, where it's not even the hue, but it's the brightness of it.
Yeah.
Now I know that in your study, because it's an experiment and you wanna study that effect only, right? So you have to sort of call attention to it. People are specifically focused on it, right? The people you had in your study are specifically focused. You ask questions about it. When people are outside of the lab, right, as people go about their daily lives and are living, just going around, how do you think the effect of the brightness of a color works? Is it more very subtle? It's implicit? Is it almost, unconscious, where it can impact your perception of what someone's wearing or an object? Is it more explicit, or is it really at a subtle, almost unconscious level? What are your thoughts on that?
Personally, I think it's unconscious, very subtle. But if you are very sensitive with color, maybe you're a graphic designer, maybe you're a fashion designer, maybe you just love clothing area, you just have this artist mind, then those people, it will be more apparent. But regular people, it wouldn't be that obvious. Yeah. And oftentimes when I talk about this color lightness versus darkness effect, people really haven't thought about it. Like you said, yeah, green versus blue versus red, they are more educated, I think, but not like darker green versus lighter green. Yeah, so I think it's definitely more subtle.
Right. Unless the shading matters to you
Yeah.
in that moment, right? Oh, I need to pick the perfect outfit or
Yes.
something. Then you start really thinking,
Yeah.
overly thinking,
Yeah.
oh, but how blue should it be?
So like 100% light color is white, 100% dark color is black. So when it's black and white, yes, like you're wearing white and yeah, it's obvious. But if it's like same hue, lighter red, darker red, people may just call it red.
Mm-hmm.
When you describe your clothing color, people rarely describe color using these three components like saturation, lighter, hex color, like yeah.
Right.
So it's usually like, oh, I'm having red dress. Yeah, even though it was very light red dress, they just still call it red dress. So I think it's very, very subtle. That's why I love researching about this, because it's like hidden gem.
Mm.
I feel like I know the secret that people don't know.
Yeah. That's really interesting. And you mentioned that people don't necessarily think about it in terms of hue and lightness and saturation. The color research tends to kind of get into that a little bit more, kind of
Yeah.
like Federico was talking about at the beginning. So, how does your work in this paper kind of build on, or maybe even contradict some of that research that has to do with color marketing?
Previous research has found that darker colors signal hierarchy, darker colors signal dominance, darker colors signal less support, less feminine. So my research is still aligned with it. I don't think it contradicts. Um, it talks more specifically about lighter colors, which is rare, yet it may become more popular in the near future. But so far, it's rare to meet another researcher who's studying about this lightness only. But previously, darker colors are associated with power, dignity, durable. Lighter colors more associated with user-friendly, kind, support. So it aligns with what we already know.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
All right. So beyond other academics who might read your article, what are the implications or takeaways, or how can your results in this particular research benefit either businesses or policymakers or just average people going about their lives as consumers?
If they have time to read my paper, I think profit entity marketers really look at what I found because especially if they are going for luxury branding, just by darkening your logo a little bit, you can amplify the effect. It's free. Like you are gonna color your logo anyway. Just choose a little bit darker. Then you get free marketer right there. Like you don't have to say it's luxury. The color itself signals luxury. On the other hand, if you're a nonprofit organization and haven't looked at the logo color yet, and you want viewers to look at your entity as more supportive, not money oriented, you're more for like the planet, then don't choose navy color. For example, choose sky blue, lighter, like baby blue. We often call baby blue too. That way, people will look at your entity as you intend, as you identify your organization as. So I hope they can find my paper and read it if they have opportunity to change their logo color.
Or maybe listen to our podcast segment,
Oh,
which summarizes some of that information for them, because I think those are great takeaways.
Oh, thank you.
What are the next steps for your research in this area or work in your field?
So I have research idea now. When nonprofit organizations still sells things to get money, I think the price tag color should be lighter colored. So right now, if you look at Amazon, all the prices are very bold black color. What if it's like lighter color for nonprofit? I think it matches with company identity a little bit better. I haven't tested yet, so I don't know if it's gonna come out significant. But my hypothesis is when profit companies sell things, the price tags better when they are bold and darker color, assuming the hue is same. So let's say blue. When Amazon sells things, navy blue price tags, but when nonprofit orgs sell things, sky baby blue price tags might work better. My dependent variable, meaning my ultimate question, is not necessarily are you going to buy or not. It's more like price fairness perception. That's what I like to study. If cookies are sold, one is from nonprofit org, the other one is for profit entity, the price tag color matter in terms of price fairness? I think yes. So that's what I like to research next.
That'd be really interesting, especially with that dependent variable, I think, in terms of fairness, price fairness.
Yeah.
And I could see there'd be a lot of potential policy-related implications even with something like that, especially in an online setting.
Online setting, yes. Because offline, when you can touch, smell, feel the product, those subtle cues matter less. You already have other stimuli that you can play with. But online, you only have a few information to play with, and they're only from your eyes. You only use one sense. So color matter more. So yeah, like you said, my research has, I think, boundary conditions. It may not work if people are shopping in person, like what I'm about to research about price fairness. But on online setting, I think when nonprofits trying to sell things online, I think the price color should be lighter to enhance price fairness. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're moving into a phase that we often call wrapped. Researchers are people too, where we just ask you a couple of questions just about yourself beyond your role as a researcher, as a teacher. So my question, I think, which I now always ask this question. So in a perfect world, right? If you weren't an academic, you weren't a professor, what would you be doing? What would be your job?
Mm. I would be a English teacher because I always love teaching. When I was young, I taught my mom how to use computer, and she's like, "Oh, you're a very great teacher. You do better job than your dad." Like, oh, wow, first compliment. So I'm like, oh, maybe I have talent in teaching. And in Korea, English is mm, big big area where everybody wants to good English. Everybody wants to speak good English, and I also often heard that, oh, my English is good, even when I thought it was horrible. Like my friends always thought like, oh, your English is really good. Can you tutor me? Because I'm preparing this specific test. Like, yeah, sure. So little bit of my marketing side and then English and my passion in teaching. I think I would be an English teacher in Korea.
Okay.
It's great. So I think you were meant to be a teacher, right?
Yes.
Yes, right.
You're well suited in your current role.
Yeah, I'll be teaching something somewhere.
Right. I love that.
Thank you.
And my question for you is, what is your favorite sound and why?
Sound? It's like compliment from my husband.
Oh,
Uh, Currently I am very busy raising two kids, 8 months and then 2.5 years old. So when I'm at home, I'm not the most prettiest woman in the world because like baby
Neither am I.
8 months old, they think your mouth is so interesting. They want to touch inside, and then they have food here, and then they hug me. Like, baby food is everywhere. But still, my husband says, "Oh, you're so pretty today," and I'm like, "Really?" And I look myself in the mirror, like I'm not. But that really touches me, and it gives me encouragement to do better job as a mom. Yeah, so I appreciate that. I like hearing that.
that's a great answer. And I love how it gives us insight into the special family life you have at home.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today, Dr. Smale. It's been a pleasure to chat with you about your research and to get to know you a little bit more.
Same.
We're so
Thank you
glad
so
to have had you on the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.